on the mind of the Pies and the Demons as we get underway from the MCG. Jeff White going against Anthony Rocker in the centre of the ground. So Anthony Rocker able to get them moving too, with O'Brien getting the first decent kick out of the centre. That's Dimatina flashing through. Quick kick forward, bouncing almost all the way to the square. Tough one for Collins. Gavin Brown did well to get boot to ball. They couldn't get it through for a goal. But the Pies at least on the board.
Well, Gavin Brown on screen. He's kicked 9 goals straight for the season. Former Collingwood skipper. Pies coming off 8 successive losses. Whelan comes away from the back pocket. He's been a surprise packet. Williams, can he stand up today? No Nathan Buckley, one of the veterans of the side. Good at 20 goals for the season. Thumping kick deep inside 50. Josh Fraser's a target. Getting his hands on the ball was Ingerson. Collins playing in defence is lined up in the back pocket. Puts the ball back over the line for a toss back in. Leon Davis on screen, an exciting young player. There we see Lane sitting on the interchange bench. Tyson Lane can be a pinch hitter when he comes onto the field. Ben Kinnear, Craig Jackatine and Brad O'Bourne, son of Rod O'Bourne, the former Collingwood and Tiger player.
Free kick picked out there. Now it's going to Troy Simmons, who has been sharing the ruck duties with Jeff White in recent weeks. Appears to be running with Fraser at the moment.
Schwarz and Neitz have both lined up inside 50 for Melbourne.
So the Demons putting their big guns forward. Might get you an Aussie's opinion on Mel Michael at some stage, KB, too. He's also lining up forward. Interested whether you think he's more value forward or back. But let's concentrate on the play. Ingerson gets it to Bruce, who had to hurry his handball in the end. And the Demons now able to go forward in the direction of Neitz. Prestigiacomo went to ground. Neitz, big opportunity. Got himself clear. There's Williams. He is the #1 tackler in the league, and he showed it again there.
I like Mel Michael on the forward line. Before he got injured, he was one of their gun players in those first 4 or 5 weeks. He was very, very dangerous, I thought, Mel Michael. Really looked like he could play. The Courier comes wide, finds Anthony Rocker. Just, the mind was ticking over, decides to kick down towards the half-forward line. He was looking for Josh Fraser. Ball way out in front, over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Probably in the end, KB, not a bad option. Anthony had absolutely no options. Josh Fraser would have been 60 or 70 metres away, so to bang it out of bounds and to just collect their thoughts and start again, not a bad option.
Simmons doing the ruck work. Leoncelli paddling the ball along in front. He's been one of Melbourne's better players this year, been averaging 22 possessions a game, Leoncelli. And again, a boundary throw in some 70 metres around from Collingwood's goal.
Doesn't the MCG look in beautiful condition too?
Well, the service looks great. Of course, the news from Colonial Stadium's not so good with the Hawthorn-St Kilda game being put off to tomorrow to be played here as Leon Davis puts the ball back over the line. So Collingwood edge a little bit closer, some 30 metres from goal.
I'm slightly surprised they've started Josh Fraser down forward. I would have thought Anthony Rocker would have been a better option early. Obviously, he's played a lot more up in the centre forward region than Josh, so perhaps I'll look at switching that if it's not working out.
Well, he grabbed onto Ingerson there, but good tap down from Michael O'Brien, letting him down. Missing the shot at goal, and they're the sort of opportunities, obviously, that Collingwood need to take early on, Aussie.
Yeah, no doubt. And just up the other end, Hutto, it's great to see David Neitz up forward. I know Coach Danaher's wrestled with that all year. Do you play Neitz up down back or down forward? But I think we saw last night with Wayne Carey, you put your guns up forward and you're going to win more often than not.
I think Mick Moldhouse would have been disappointed by O'Brien then. He had plenty of time to come around on his right foot, which he did, but he didn't open up the angle of the goal enough. I think he's better than that. Rocker. I've seen him start in the ruck a few times, Richard, and I think it really has fired him up. I think that's the position for him to start, then go forward. High flyer was Tarrant, off hands. Could be a danger today. Gets the ball quickly across to Powell, starting in the forward pocket, now having a run on the ball. Goes short across half-back, finds Whelan. Powell runs on. 22 possessions for the ex-Bulldog, playing for the Demons, kicks it in front. He's looking for White. Batheris showed a lot of pace, coming out hard as Neitz. Rockets the ball, it's a poor handball. Some fancy footwork by O'Brien. Sets it up and Jukovic comes away from half-back.
Drives him to half-forward. Just had a little bit too much on it there for Whelan. Didn't quite get through to Tarrant. So the ball out of bounds. Yes, Robertson also playing up forward for Melbourne and Farmer, and at the moment White. So it really is a star-studded forward line for the Demons. Mel Michael and Simmons doing the ruck work. Did he get in the back there, Troy Simmons at Michael? No. Mel Michael does well to get the ball to boot and also to not kick it out on the full. So Collingwood at the moment attacking, doing most of the attacking. Leon Davis on screen. We know that June has been a terrible month for Collingwood in recent years, and I guess that says it all. Dimatina gets the ball forward and over the line and out of bounds.
Perhaps, Hutto, the fact that the season started a month earlier, they just had that horror month a month earlier.
Yeah, well, it's been a horror 2 months for them, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, it certainly has.
So we're inside 50, Collingwood, and Melbourne yet to score. The Pies 2 behinds. Ingerson from behind against Fraser, who got the tap down. Phoebe had it ripped away. Davis trying to barge through. Out of bounds on the full. And the free kick will go to Collins.
It'll be interesting today to see who stands up for Collingwood without Nathan Buckley. We saw when Matthew Richardson went down for the Tigers, the general feeling was that that would be the end of their season, but they went from strength to strength. And you just don't know who's going to take that next step.
The obvious one that comes to mind, KB, probably the second classiest in the side, is Paul Williams.
Look at Rocker over the top. Well, he said he's going to be fired up for this game. He was criticised on Talking Football. He said he wants to play a blinder. He's looking for Josh Fraser. Leon Davis, a touch of magic. Just tried to squeeze the ball out to Dimatina. Strong on the ground, does well, gets the ball still inside 50. Betheras closes, so does O'Brien. Davis is there as well. The Demons equal to the task. Going to ground was Robertson. Their second highest goal kicker this year with 24. Gives it across to Leoncelli. The Demons on the burst. Neitz was hung on to. No free kick, yes. Farmer. They're playing advantage on 50. The Wiz runs to 50. Unloads. I'm not quite certain there was an advantage there. He couldn't just go straight on with the play. He had to balk and weave and come back. But it was allowed to go. Yeah, I see here being held on to by Presti Giacomo.
Oh, the ball coming out via Burns, who has to kick quickly to centre half forward. This is where Collingwood have had problems so far. They haven't been able to take a mark. Dimatina roved it beautifully. Deserves to finish it off. Doesn't very well. And Ingerson did that very well. It was a poor kick from Dimatina after terrific roving, Aussie.
Yeah, well, he did all the hard work front and centre, and you just got to finish off better than that. Collingwood have had their opportunities early, but just haven't converted on the scoreboard.
Oh, Jeff White being exposed there. The ball through the middle of the ground. Well tackled again. McDonald wrapped up by Williams. Woden over the top. Well done, Farmer. Walsh, full head of steam. Just kept cool and calm. Put it out in front of Schwarz. Couldn't take the mark. And well done by the Collingwood defence again. Burns setting it out wide. O'Brien. Space in front of him, and also Orchard. So he finds Orchard on the wing, who looks up. Got a few leading options. One of them is Fraser out wide. Another one, Gavin Brown. Goes to Brown. Collins right there with him. And it's over and out. And I think they'd be pretty annoyed in the Collingwood coaching box. Not with the endeavour, not with the way they're going in for the ball, because that's certainly been good, but just they haven't been able to convert any goals yet.
No, it's a good point. They've had plenty of opportunities. They've had the majority of the play. Certainly had more scoring opportunities than Melbourne. Josh Fraser and Ingerson. 8-3 inside 50. Brown around the corner. Centric kick. Danger here. And Mel Michael playing in front. Has marked. So some good signs here for the Pies.
Yeah, I think it'll be very important too that Mel goes back and kicks this goal, because it's already been mentioned, KB, by yourself. They've had the ball in that forward 50 more often than Melbourne at this stage. They need to put pressure on Melbourne on the scoreboard. And if they can do that now through Mel, very encouraging signs early for the Collingwood Football Club.
Well, he was very good in the early part of the season before injuring his shoulder. He's kicked 8 goals for the season, but of course he missed many weeks out of the side. Such an important inclusion for the Pies. If he can come back to his best form, he'll certainly help him in the second half. Mel Michael rams it home.
Played just 6 matches before today, and that's a real confidence boost for him, Aussie.
Yeah, no doubt. He's, you know, Mel wouldn't be much over 6 foot, probably 6'1" or 6'2" at the very most, but as we've seen week in, week out, whether he's playing down back or up forward, he's very athletic, and he always gives you a contest, Mel. There's no doubt with Mel, he's always in the contest. He'll give it his all.
So Collingwood get some reward for their early hard work and have the lead at the moment by 8 points. White, a tap look good. Di Martina's been in everything. Atkins been quiet so far, but now he's underway with a wide kick. Tough one for Tarrant. Really didn't bounce well for him. Bruce did well to get it out to Uze. Lovely kick. It opens up. The Woden deciding not to play on with it. Robertson's up forward, as is Schwarz. Goes for Schwarz. Wasn't a bad kick. Richardson did well. Jukovic in support. Thought about going straight for the boundary. It was a scrubby old kick in the end, but it did the job, and they're out of trouble. So Collingwood running well off half-back through Burns. To the wing. Davis just got a little bit too far underneath it. Whelan was there. Davis again did well. Escapes with it to full forward. A couple there, Fraser and Brown. Fraser, was he held? No, said the umpire. Orchard, he was held as well. Also played for it. Didn't get the free kick. Phoebe, Davis, Fraser, a couple to beat. Whelan, they all stood up in the end, the Demons, and they'll get out of trouble from half-back. He can run right up to the wing and spear the pass into Russell Robertson, who's out on the lead.
Robinson is on the centre wing position. Loose player Leoncelli. Just physical size beat the Pies in that contest on their half-forward line, and Richardson playing in front. Got a big rap from Mick Malthouse. Said he had heard a lot about Mark Richardson, but he has been terrific for the Pies this year. He has stood up and he's been counted. Burns, acting skipper today. Pies certainly the underdogs against Melbourne, who are 8th on the table. The Pies are 13th. Now easy mark by Richardson. Plenty of time to recover. Comes away from centre half back. That's a beautiful kick out wide. Tarrant didn't even have to break stride. Back edge of the centre square. One-on-one contest. He's looking for Gavin Brown. Collins to beat. Reckon he could be a good player, Collins, if he gets a good crack at it without injury. Neats, danger. 65 out. Loose player Robinson. Some quick thinking that time by Neats. Spooted 24 goals for the season. Russell Robinson has kicked a lot of his goals coming off the bench.
Yeah, he's a noted jumping jack, Russell Robinson. He takes some fantastic marks. And one thing I love about him, apart from the fact that he is a good second option for goal, he's so hard at the ball. Week in, week out, you see him almost get knocked into oblivion, but never keeps his eye off the ball. He's a great young talent.
Well, the Demons yet to score. 1-2-8 the Pies. Robinson from right on 50. He's pushed it right and through for a minor score.
Well, I must say, Aussie, with a beard like that, how can you expect to kick goals?
It's an unusual one, isn't it? It's a bit Fu Manchu-ish, isn't it?
Say that again?
Fu Manchu.
Burns off half-back. Gets it onto the wing. Well, not good for Collingwood because Jeff White there to take the easiest of marks. Williams just tripped over the mark too, and it's called back. Anthony Rocker stands the mark. You see Neats and Schwarz both roaming around down there, calling for the ball. Probably more space in front of Schwarz, but he goes wider instead. Good kick, and Robertson again. They might get 50 here. No. Burns was pretty late on that. He sets it up. Neats. Propping. Oh, he didn't take the mark. He propped in good position. Collingwood defence working overtime. Farmer got through somehow. Then he just ran straight into Jukovic. Goes again, Jeff Farmer. Schwarz did it well. They kept it alive, the Demons. Quick snap at goal, Rigoni. And they're on the board for a second time. So 2 behinds, Melbourne, and Collingwood 1-2-8.
I think Neil Danaher will be very happy with Jeff Farmer's efforts there. He tried something magic. We thought something was going to eventuate, but he just kept trying, and eventually the ball did spill out.
Lockyer all year has been good for the Pies. Bring the ball back into play. Finds Lacuria. Pumps the ball back. Tarrant. Reminds me a lot of Nick Holland. Runs all over the field. Covers a tremendous amount of territory. I think he's going to be a real star. Drops the ball in short. Mel Michael. Davis looks really sharp today. White has read it well. Well, we're told by Melbourne that he has been through a lot of troubles with a shin, been hospitalised, and has been playing through great difficulty, but he's lined up the ruck today. Leoncelli, loose player is Robertson. Let's see if that beard stops him from kicking a goal. It doesn't.
Hutto.
Nice kick. Still not a fan of the beard, though.
No, it's not a good look, but good option by Jeff White. Just sitting back in defence. Sloppy kick then by Collingwood. Stephen Powell, he's been good for Melbourne all year long. Just a tireless work. Leoncelli, great vision. And Robertson slotted it through. He had to do it.
So Melbourne get the answering goal halfway through this first quarter. It's a low-scoring encounter. But 1-2-8, Collingwood have still had more of the ball, but Melbourne in the last 5 minutes certainly going forward with more promise. This is Powell trying to wheel his way clear. Got there. Schwarz going sideways, setting up just over the head of Leoncelli. Now the race is on. He's in front, but he overran it. The Theris did pretty well. Then he has to kick quickly. He was pushed to the ground. No downfield free. Anthony Rocker seemed to stop then, and Ingerson got to the front and took the mark. Not sure if Anthony Rocker thought there was a downfield free coming or what, but he just seemed to stop. And Ingerson just worked his way to the front. So it seems like that move might have been made in the ruck now, with Rocker going up forward. Onto the wing, Orchard just feeding the ball out to Williams, who gives it and wants it back. Doesn't get it back though. Fraser setting it up high. This is how a lot of the balls have come in, and it hasn't been that easy for the Collingwood forwards to take the mark. And again, the Melbourne defence able to clear. Walsh under pressure. Great tackling though by Davis, and is rewarded. And gee, Leon Davis, hasn't he been up and about so far? Has had 5 possessions now, and that's his best one yet.
Yeah, great kick, Leon Davis. Geez, he has been alive by KB in that forward line, hasn't he?
Well, I can remember speaking to Noel Judkins, of course, the recruiting officer down at Collingwood before the draft, and I said, tell me one kid who you'd like to pick up. And he said, Leon Davis, but we'll never get him because we're, Josh Fraser and all that sort of stuff. He won't be there when we get a chance. They got him.
And Tarrant, beautiful looking kick. And he's drilled it. So Collingwood second, and they are back in front by 6 points.
I think that this boy on screen, Chris Tarrant, in 3 or 4 years' time, he just might be one of the absolute guns of the competition. I just really like the way he runs. I like his work rate. He's a beautiful mark. He's a lovely kick. He's got everything going for him. He's got good size. I think he could be a star. Highs by 6 points. Just under 8 minutes left in this first quarter. Traditional rivals, Melbourne and Collingwood. They've had some great games, some great grand finals. Loose ball, edge of the centre square. Rigoni kicks a high ball. It's one for the Brave, but Theris caught underneath it. Does well, got a fist to the ball. Atkins. Well, I'm not quite certain whether he had a great deal of time there. No sooner did he win the ball, he was being tackled. Rigoni pumps the ball. Neitz and Schwarz are going to be the target up forward. They need some crummers there as well, because it looks like the Collingwood defence, it's a throw, it was shoveled out, been pinched by Presky Giacomo. Now it opens up. Josh Fraser, so athletic, just needs a kind bounce. Back edge of the centre square. Now he's lost his footing. It's not Colonial Stadium, it's the MCG. The tackle is on from Dimatina, and he's got it. Is it going to Dimatina or Leon Davis? Coming back to Davis. Edge of the centre square. Great opening quarter, 6 possessions.
He's laid 3 tackles too, KB.
And Josh Fraser from about 80 metres out wobbles the kick forward. It's a shocker. Marked by Ingerson.
Yeah, probably one of the areas where Fraser still has to do a fair bit of work, I guess. There's his disposal. Under pressure too, but that one wasn't really. Powell goes very wide in search of and finding Robertson. Schwarz leading up to the 50 mark. Richardson has been with him, and he's been doing a good job so far. He's got support inboard. Richardson, he didn't use it. He went for the boundary line and he's pinged. And that's probably fair enough, because he definitely had another option there. Inboard was Paul Licuria, and I'm surprised he didn't use him. Just pedal it straight over. Long kick into... Oh, it might almost bounce through, not quite. Neitz keeps it alive. Kick was smothered. Oh, Uze! Well, Mark Viduka's here, and he would have enjoyed that.
Well, I'd love to see that one on replay, boys. The margin for error there is just unbelievable. He just had to strike that just perfectly. Have a look on replay. Neitz tries to kick... Oh, that's a freak goal. That's something you'd expect Jeff Farmer to do. But Adam Uze, he's the one telling it himself. Obviously, it may have had with his European background, may have played a bit of soccer as a child. But as you said, Hutto, Mark Viduka would have been very proud of that.
Scores a level, 2-2 apiece.
Atkins taken off the ground after that tackle too, replaced by Jacatine.
15 goals for the season by Adam Uze, who has made the transition forward after being really a half-back where he's played some of his best football. Kicked off the ground by Richardson, ricochets back. Walsh, so good across half-back this year. Ragonis kicks a poor one. Good hands that time. Really strong hands by Uze to Powell, who pumps the ball long.
It's coming
Wild
back.
kick, but the ball is coming back. And Uze is going to take the free kick. Well, he might kick his second goal for the quarter. He'll be shooting from right on 50.
Any idea what the free kick was for?
Adam Uze to put the Demons in front. Now he got rid of the ball, and obviously the tackle was held too long. Uze from right on 50. He's shown his skills at ground level. Spins it through for a one behind, so just didn't really quite make good contact with the ball on that occasion.
So Mick Malthouse contemplating. Ooh, that was no mark in the end to Jukovic, but he cleared the ball pretty well out the wing. Michael is in front. The ball not bouncing kindly for him. Simmons was there as well. Williams couldn't take it. Simmons wins out. And his handball was terrible. Lucuria on the rebound. Mel Michael loose. A lead from Gavin Brown, but that kick also run down. So it's on 50. Bruce trying to get through, and he does. Just got the handball away in the nick of time. Leoncelli aligning himself for the leading Woden, but Burns saving mark and quick to his feet. Quick to spot up on the outer side that Andrew Jukovic was running. And now Collingwood on the rebound. Going with a probing kick. Ingerson in better position to spoil. Over the top was Rocker. He's still going at it. Rocker, Leon Davis, Collins it was that came through. Cleared it onto the wing. There's Bruce, well wrapped up in a very good tackle from Leon Davis again. And the ball out of bounds. Another tackle for Leon Davis.
Well, he's had 6 possessions and 4 tackles. Number 40 on screen, Leon Davis. Not much of him. Josh Fraser, Gavin Brown. 248 games of AFL football. A centering kick. Williams was the target, and he's got it. Inside the centre square, too far out to score. He just needs support. In fact, he'll go short. Finds Lucuria. Sets it up well.
See, that was really well done.
Bruce got it.
Yeah, it was smart.
In the goal square, all the big blokes from Melbourne players.
Yeah, Jeff White had dropped back. Paul Williams, as I mentioned earlier, he's a class act. He was smart enough to realise if he just banged it long, Jeff White would have either marked it or banged it through for a point, so which would eventuate in a turnover. So in the end of the day, very smart play by the Collingwood team.
O'Brien from right on 50. Their gun recruit nails it.
Well, he has certainly done a good job for the Collingwood team under enormous pressure, KB. They've lost 8 in a row, but Shane O'Brien, since transferring from the Brisbane Lions, has been a very good recruit. There was a lot of pressure on him to perform, obviously seen as one of the great white hopes, but he's been nothing but sensational this year.
So a real spirited start here from Collingwood. The ball going from both ends to the other quite regularly without either team being able to convert really well. They're both having a crack, and particularly encouraging signs for Collingwood, I would suggest.
Well, what we might see today is more of a spreading of the load without Nathan Buckley, who really is the focal point of the Collingwood side. And I think as this game goes on, that will be one of the interesting things for Mick Malthouse, just to see just how much that load and the influence of Nathan Buckley not being there is spread amongst the rest of his teammates.
I guess who can stand up in the midfield? They're going to need plenty as the afternoon wears on. Phoebe, good kick. Gee, Robertson's really given them a target moving into attack, hasn't he? 5 marks he's taken. And Leoncelli's been busy as well. The ball inside 50, Neats. Now Schwarz has been quiet, and that's a poor handball. Straight to Jacatine, who's in trouble. He's gone, holding the ball. Holding the ball, and well, Jacatine came on to replace Adkins, who also was pinged for holding the ball, so I wonder whether he'll get the same fate.
And Scott McLaren did well there, the umpire, because he paid advantage and then brought the ball back. when it was quite clear that it wasn't an advantage to the Melbourne side.
Looks like David Neitz is complaining about the ball too, boys. Kicking it back to Scott McLaren, suggesting it's a little bit flat.
Scott McLaren showing that, like Peter Carey, he can take a mark as well. I was out at the Sherrin factory last week, and the boys would be very disappointed to see that one go flat. Malcolm Blight and myself visited, and talking footy on Monday, you'll see the results of that, because Blighty's been talking about left-handed footballs and right-handed footballs.
With the stitching.
But there was a problem earlier in the year with the bladders. A couple of them went flat, so...
Well, Scott McLaren is a pharmacist, so I doubt whether he knows much about the making of a Sherrin football.
Well, David Neitz knows how to kick one. There's not much doubt about that. And this is to put Melbourne back in front with just 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining. Started at left, and that's where it stays. Still in play. Oh, big chance for Schwarz and a goal. A goal to David Schwarz. And that would be very disappointing to the Collingwood hierarchy, I would think.
Well, instead of trying to just get the back of the hand here and knock this through with the back of the hand, this was like a sweep.
Yeah, it's
and as a result, see, the sweep didn't quite come off. And that's a very lucky goal in the end for Melbourne. And there was Mick just having a glance. Be disappointed. Minute and a half left. And with the back of the hand, that probably would have went through, but with the sweep, just the other hand's in the way. Demons in front by a point. 21 plays 20. Centre square, O'Brien. Hurried kick back to 50. And Whelan, who has been very good this year. Played half a season in Darwin. Did so well in the competition's best and fairest. Has really been strutting his stuff with the Ds. Rigoni. And Robertson, well, he has been magnificent today. He has absolutely killed him across the half-forward line. Can you believe it? He's taken 7 marks in the first quarter.
That was paid a mark, I think, then.
Woden. 7 marks in the first quarter. I mean, if he keeps that up, he'll take more marks than anyone in the history of the game. That'll be 28 for the game. I think Gary Dempsey once took 28. Woden. And there's a good mark, and there's mark number 8.
That beard, I said it doesn't help his kicking, but gee, it helps his marking.
We may have to get the record books out for the marking. That's just magnificent.
He just may have scared everyone off. Russell Robertson, 8 marks in the first quarter. This is a marking show.
He is noted for his marking, KB. I did make the point earlier. He's very, very strong overhead, Russell Robertson, and doesn't mind going for his marks.
And you see Scotty Burns then just in that corner of that shot, who's picked him up. He's the acting Collingwood captain today. He just couldn't believe it, just shook his head again, because he's got a real jumping bean. He's playing on today. Robinson going for his second goal. And he has kicked it.
Well, if Mick Malthouse wasn't happy prior to that goal with David Schwartz's effort, with 1.5 minutes to go, one thing you don't want your team doing is allowing the opposition to kick 2 late goals. And that's exactly what the Melbourne Football Club have done. Collingwood have probably had more of the ball this quarter. They've done all the hard work. And at the end of the day, they'll find themselves 7 points down at quarter time.
Well, Mick Malthouse persisting with Scotty Burns at the moment. I wonder whether he'll make a change at quarter time. Robertson with
Scotty Burns.
His domination in the air. So out of the middle, they'll go forward again. Only 11 seconds. O'Brien rode the tackle. Mightn't be time for either side to get a score now. Only 4 seconds. Unless Collingwood can take a mark from this kick, siren will go now. So Neil Danaher will come onto the ground pretty happy, I think, to be in front, because Collingwood were very spirited, and Russell Robertson has certainly contributed to the Demons being in front. 8 marks, 2 goals, and Mick Malthouse plenty to think about at quarter time without Nathan Buckley. They were good early, but in the end they're behind Aussie. Leoncelli. So we get ready to start the second quarter. Collingwood very spirited early in the first. Let's see what happens in the second. White to Powell. Melbourne to that dangerous forward line. Neitz in front. Press to Giacomo. But Leoncelli just ripping it off the pack. Deserves a goal. Outstanding play. And he finishes finishes it off well.
That was just perfect roving. I'll throw a name up from the past, boys. You remember him, Gary Wilson. He was probably one of the best rovers I'd seen doing that. That was just almost in fast motion, KB. We'll see on replay.
Well,
Stephen Powell.
He actually crumbed it well, didn't he, Stephen Powell?
Oh, and look at that, just perfect.
And that's Scotty Burns' opponent too. He's having a bad afternoon, Scotty Burns.
And as you know, KB, you were fantastic crumbing the ball. It's not easy to crumb the ball that close to the contest. It's just hit or miss.
So Scotty Burns has moved off Russell Robertson, so he'll be shaking his head with Leoncelli kicking that opening goal. Uze, it's a very short kick, no mark. Scotty Burns ties him up. So the Demons by 13 points, 5-3 plays 3-2.
It's now becoming quite a crucial period of the game for Collingwood. The lead has blown out to 13 points. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring match, so they're going to have to stay fairly close.
Jeff White might be just enjoying his run back in the ruck after that shin problem. High ball, Mel Michael, test of strength, does it well against Simmons. Well, he kicked the first goal of the game, rockets the ball onto O'Brien. It's a kick. He was sort of half off balance as he tried to kick the ball towards the goal square. Collins did the job playing on Gavin Brown, just wobbles the ball to the half-back flank. Jeff White, it was a loopy handball, very sloppy play, and the ball is coming back, and the free kick will go to Jukovic.
He was a bit stiff there, Adam Uze. He was making the play. He's tapped the ball onto his Melbourne teammate, and unfortunately he's obviously got in the back of Jukovic.
Well, it was a poor handball from Jeff White. Didn't really have any sting on it at all. Josh Fraser, his lead's been ignored. Anthony Rocker, he's got it.
There's no margin for error there. That had to be spot on, that kick, and it was.
So Anthony Rocker started the game well. Now let's have a look at this free kick. Well, you can see they're definitely in the back to Jukovic. 4 marks and 4 possessions to Anthony Rocker. And he's booted 23 goals for the season. So Melbourne have bounced out the blocks with the opening goal in this second quarter. Anthony Rocker, they trail by 13 points. Can he drag it back to 7? Starts to bend it back. Bangs it through.
Well, Anthony has been a goal kicker for Collingwood all year long, along with his brother, who's out of the side at this stage. But Anthony did need to kick that goal. They were starting to blow the lead out a bit, Melbourne, 13 points. And as I said, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring match. And for Collingwood to have any hope whatsoever, Anthony will probably have to kick 3 or 4 minimum today.
Well, very important goal, that one, for the Pies, that's for sure. After Melbourne had been on a roll, they'd banged, I think, 3 or 4 in a row. Deep inside 50, though. Robertson, there's Burns, the man under all sorts of pressure. And the afternoon not getting any easier for him as he's crunched to the ground. He had a fair bit of the ball himself in the first quarter. 6 kicks, took 4 marks. Atkins, Kinnear, Lane and Auburn on the bench for the Pies. Uze hacked it out of the air. Burns again under pressure. Leoncelli sitting on top of him, and again we'll have a bounce. And Burns believing that he deserved a free kick on that occasion. A lot of players around the ball. Back in the goal square, Richardson and Schwarz wait. They're about 40 metres off the contest, you can see. Neat slapping it forward. Well, they did it pretty well in the end. Orchard on the end of the Batheris handball, and he didn't have much to go to, so he went for and finds the boundary line.
Yeah, again, a smart option there, Hutto. We saw that earlier. There was no other option there but for Orchard to just bang it out of bounds and start again.
Travis Johnstone on the phone. Looks like he might be coming off of the Demons. Some instructions. The ball once more over the line for a toss back in. From the #1 draft selection in the national draft, Travis Johnstone. Jeff White and Rocker, 2 of the young guns in the competition. Powell, driven to the ground, will take the free kick. White They want to move the ball quickly into their forward line, and standing tall this time is Scotty Burns. That'll lift his confidence. Goes wide, finds Dimatina. Fraser's out in front, kicks long to space. Tarrant's the target. Just went to ground, just couldn't hold his footing. Brown has kicked 9 straight goals for the season. That's his first behind.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that, Gavin. He really did well to just open up that play. He weaved some magic, got onto his right boot. Probably had a lot more time than what he thought. And he's just overcorrected too far by the looks of it. Yeah, he won't be happy at all.
Well, that was a little dangerous, but it finds its mark. And Melbourne now through Simmons can run through centre-half back. The loose man running away is Collins. Wasn't a good handball to him, but he has time to turn it into something good for the Demons. Pushing well up the ground. Off the left foot kick. Uze bouncing one. This is Johnson. Oh, the handball run down. He was just on the ground. We saw him getting in style of Curia. He's gone. He should have been gone. He really sat over the top of it. Play on. Rocker. Oh, he held on to it a long time. Just got it away in time. Uze bursting through. Delivery was excellent. Oh, Schwarz made a meal of it. This is Farmer. Just lurking. Lockyer wraps him up. They keep it alive, the Demons. Still they go. Was that over the shoulder? Batheris under pressure. Neats working it out. Russell Robertson. Out of the form.
Yeah, it was always going to be a low percentage thing to go for goals, and I think Russell was no doubt going for goals there on his left boot.
Lucuria, transfer of play, finds Burns. Tucked in the back pocket. Great smother off the boot, chance for Melbourne. Leoncelli towards Neats, desperate on the ground level. Second effort, tunnel balled it out. Presti Giacomo comes away, finds Anthony Rocca, who can stand and deliver. Kicks the ball back towards the half-forward line. Here comes Tarrant. Got the bounce he wanted. The speed of Leon Davis wants to take him on. Whelan's a hard man to beat in the crunch. Davis desperate over the pack. Tries to keep the ball alive. Squeezed up. He'll be pinged. No.
Should be.
Wow.
Should be.
There was no attempt to keep that ball alive. Now the umpires are conferring.
That is dreadfully inconsistent.
And Powell's coming off. But no attempt there by Phoebe to keep it alive.
Yeah, it would have been different, KB, if he was right on the line and spun out of bounds, but he was a good 3 or 4 yards out. And as you said, the umpires have to be consistent.
The Demons by 6 points. White thumps the ball back over the line.
Now, that was interesting. Play restarted there before McDonald was back in the play, and my understanding of the blood rule is the player has to be in position.
Yep, no doubt.
And the Collingwood player wasn't ready. The Melbourne player was.
Well, if they take too long to come on, they're allowed to bounce the ball. They're given a fair time to do it. Of course, the player leaving the field doesn't have to be off the field before the new player comes on. So if they want to take too long, the umpire will restart. Anthony Rocca, can he kick a big goal? It'll take a mighty kick. He's a good 65, 70 metres out.
What a confidence boost it would be if he could roost this through. He's not going to try.
It's a centering kick. Tarrant. Well, I've spoken a lot about this young boy. I think that he is tops.
Well, there's no doubt, KB, that Eddie Maguire and the whole Collingwood Football Club worked tirelessly to bring Chris back over the summer months. He was obviously a little disillusioned with his football, wanted to go away fishing with his mates. But their persistence paid off, and he's back in the team.
Can he finish off? Tarrant rams it through. He's got 2. And then scores a level.
Well, they keep chipping away the pies, don't they? Scores are level. Early in that quarter, when the lead did blow out to 13 points, there were some worrying signs, but they just keep chipping away. And if they can keep this going, if they can just hang with Melbourne, I don't think it's going to be a big scoring game. If they can just hang tough, it could be closer than what we think.
Given that Melbourne kicked the first goal of the second quarter, been a terrific performance by Collingwood to get back on level terms, and here they go again. O'Brien couldn't get an effective kick, but Adkins should be able to. His kick is very wide, out in front of Anthony Rocca, but so far in front that it's out of bounds. Well, Rocker said that he wanted to play a blinder, and he's playing a pretty good game so far. 5 marks, 6 kicks, 1 goal. He's set up that last one. Fraser rode the tackle, then worked it on. Oregonian was under pressure. Phoebe also under pressure. There's Leon again. Oh, Leon Davis almost could have been rewarded. Well, Fraser held onto it for a long time. Too long. Through it, said the umpire. Uze into the middle of the ground. Ben Beams might get a free. Now, that was pretty silly, really, by Lockyer. I know he was trying to stop Beams, but I thought that Beams wasn't a shoo-in to take the ball away. As it is, White takes the mark, 60 out.
Yeah, Hutto, Ben Beams just came onto the ground replacing Jeff Farmer.
So obviously Neil Danaher not happy with something that Farmer did. A little short option was on, and that's pretty poor manning up. Leoncelli within range where Jeff White probably wasn't. Andrew Leoncelli kicked 1 goal this afternoon and has kicked 9 goals, 2 for the season before today, so he's now kicked 10 goals. Just inside 50, it's coming back, it is coming back, touched on the line. So Melbourne in front by that margin.
Yeah, you called it well, Hutto. It was swinging back, but at the end of the day, just didn't have the legs to carry over the line.
5-4-34 Melbourne, 5-3-33 the Pies. Great traditional rivals. Some wonderful games over the years. The Pies have lost 8 games on the trot. Can they break the drought? The Demons have lost their past 3, but they are in 8th spot on the ladder. Betheris marks at half-back. Woden hasn't had a real impact on the game today, just the 4 possessions. Well down on the 22 that he's been averaging. Fraser rockets the ball wide to Lockyer. I like the run of Collingwood. Richardson. Some great tackling by some of their younger players today, and Fraser and Leon Davis. Plenty of spirit. Burns maybe just starting to work his way back into the game. Carved up in that first quarter by Russell Robertson, who took 8 marks in their first term.
Just got no options here, Scott Burns. None of the Collingwood forwards are leading towards him.
Burns, centre wing.
Push Jeff
Rocker.
Right too.
Well, he just might get the distance. It might be a centering kick. Tarrant's going to look dangerous. Kicks the ball in. Here's Tarrant. Big fist away that time by Jeff White. At ground level, Walsh pounced on it. Great smother off the boot. Loose ball. That smother came from Williams. And the Pies tied up. 45 metres out from goal. We saw Walsh last week. He was a tremendous player. Went off with crook ribs. There's Jeff Farmer sitting on the interchange bench. So far, no impact. Just the 1 kick and 1 handball. I'd like to see him play midfield, though. Just give him a little bit of room. Shoveled out. Orchards keen to paddle the ball long in front. Adkins changes direction. Betheris tried to crash his way through. Caught was Fraser. Good enough to get the handball away. It's alive. Betheris dragged down, caught high. Yeah. Will take the free kick. Oh. They won't play advantage. It'll come back. And Rupert Betheris with this kick to put the Pies in front.
Yeah, it was a good call there by Michael Vuzzo. You have to protect the player going for the ball, and no doubt you have to protect the player if they do get hit in the head. Rupert made the play, not once but twice, and just persistence paid off. And let's just hope he can just seal off his good work with a much-needed goal.
Well, he's kicked 1 goal, 6 for the season. He likes it. He's got it.
Rupert's been a great story at Collingwood. He tried out at Fremantle and virtually walked in the door at Collingwood and said, I want to have a go. He was on the sub list, elevated to the senior list. And as I said earlier, he's a workhorse. He'll give it to you all day long, and he's a great young kid.
So Collingwood, after being down by a couple of goals, have hit back to be in front by 5 points. Tremendous performance by the young Pies. Dimatina in and under again.
No,
gets it out with a throw.
No, he's thrown it, yeah. Good call.
It's a pity because Dimatina's won some hard balls early in both the first quarter and then the second. That's a penetrating kick right to the danger zone. Really tough for the defence. Had to be working overtime, and they were. The umpire eventually blowing the whistle. A lot of players around the ball and not wanting to give it up. Shane Woden this afternoon, I would have thought relatively quiet. 3-in-1 he's had. Has gone off the boil a bit after a steaming start to the season. Still in the danger area though for Melbourne. 40 metres out from their goal. Robertson, Batheris. Now they're out of trouble. The Curie find lucky. Oh, Burns! Well, I would have thought pretty lucky. Beams has kicked. Now there's a throw being paid, and it's going Collingwood's way.
I certainly wouldn't have paid a free kick against Scotty Burns. He's got to have some opportunity to get his balance to get rid of the ball. I think that was very good umpiring then.
Well, we'll come back to it. You're probably right, KB, but he wouldn't have wanted any more time.
Williams on the burst, back to Mel Michael. It was a poor handball. Walsh, can he make him pay? Keeps the ball alive to Robinson, to Simmons. The Demons on the charge. Williams chased hard, inside 50, Neats. Well, a poor handball for the Pies on the half-forward line, and Walsh did well. He pinched it. Schwarz, who kicked his 200th goal in the first quarter, and he kicked the goal off the ground. Second lead has been ignored. Now, David Neitz is a thumping kick. He's got a beautifully relaxed run in. And if he makes real point of contact, he'll send this through post high. David Neitz, the skipper. Right on 50. Starts to bend it back right to the line. That's better defensive play. 3 or 4 behind.
He really didn't use all the space he had then, David Neitz. He could have walked inside 50 and had a shot, but he's kicked that from about 55 metres, so obviously he just misjudged the distance.
Lockyer bringing it back into play. Well, he gave Melbourne a chance. Richardson just had it taken away by Woden, who will get a lot of praise from Melbourne fans for that little effort. Still Jeff Farmer on the bench. 6-3 to 5-5. And I'd say he's injured. Mercuria. Going to come through, we'll have another bounce.
In what most would have thought could have been a one-sided contest, boys, it's been very competitive so far.
Yeah, Collingwood more than competitive, really, Aussie, aren't they? I mean, they're in their chances. They're in front, and probably unfair on Melbourne to say they could be further in front, but they really have worked very hard this afternoon. As are the Demons now. They're trying to get something going up forward. Uze trying to lay the handball off. He threw it. Now he got to push in the back. He's kicking quickly. He had a man out wide. Oh, Robertson, I think it is again, who was falling over. Still managed to take the mark.
It's almost as if, well, this marking code is too easy, so I'm going to make it look hard.
That's 9 marks. He's had a pretty quiet time of it in this second quarter, after taking 8 in the first. Here he is, and he can roost a ball too. But that time it's just going to drop on the edge of the square. Johnstone flying. Out of behind the result, so we've got a real close game now. 3 points the margin.
Lockyer goes short, finds Tyson Lane, who can be a goal kicker. It just might be a pinch hit up forward later in the game. Deep in defence, kicks the ball wide. It's a great kick, finds Williams. He's been pretty handy. 7 possessions and 3 marks. This kick is a shocker.
Yeah, that's unlike Paul Williams. Normally a beautiful kick. He saw Chris Tarrant lead, and he was going back before he was going forward, KB, if you know what I mean. And he just kicked off the back step.
And invariably you kick Paul. Kick very poorly when you kick on that back foot. The high flyer was Robertson. He's taken 9 grabs. Prestigiacomo comes away. Davis out wide. Should trap the ball. He is super quick. Can he set it up? Scotty Burns is the target. Whelan's going to close. And takes a ripper. Goes wide, finds Beams. 60 metres out. The Demons into attack. Neitz looks dangerous. He's got it. Second grab, no. Jukovic to Richardson. He was slow. Run down. Great chasing. And Rigoni finds a loose player in Powell. So Richardson would be disappointed. I think the chase came from McDonald.
Gee, that hurt on the outer side though. Davis's kick made it very tough for Scotty Burns, and when you're all running forward with loose men, Aussie, when suddenly the turnover's there.
In fact, it was Johnston, Travis Johnston. Well, take a bow, because the youngster has been struggling to get a game, and that's the sort of desperation that Neil Danaher would have liked, because he just may turn this into a goal. The Pies lead by 3 points. Powell has kicked it. They're in front.
Just going back to that Leon Davis turnover, Hutto, how's the confidence of young Matthew Whelan? He was behind Scotty Burns. I suppose the coach would prefer them to go the punch, but he's just taken it upon himself to go the mark, and boy, didn't he show some skill and confidence.
So the Demons now by 3. Powell putting them back in front. Waiting to bounce the ball. Now we're ready. Fraser got the tap down. Leoncelli read it really well. Dimatina involved again. Richardson got a handball away. Fraser. It's all Melbourne at half forward though for Collingwood. There's a couple of Demons. One of them, Stephen Phoebe, took a long time to pick it up, but eventually brushed the tackle off and found his man, Leoncelli, on the wing. So the Demons skipping forward now. Long probing kick to the top of the square. Great thump away by Prestigiacomo. Not just gaining distance, hit Scotty Burns on the chest. It's not Scotty's day, but he gets some support. O'Brien streaming through. Good hands in front of Lucuria. Lucuria goes for the pass. It wasn't good to Gavin Brown. It was a tough one for him. Good running, good attacking work, but Melbourne getting away with it. Phoebe clearing kick, Beams gathers it well. Long kick, Lockyer back with the flight. Have to try and not give it away. Uze takes it. Got wide, he's got Beams, he's got Schwarz. Neither of them in really great position. Neitz is the target. Punched away. Well done, Rocker. Well done, Lucuria. Setting up Jukovic. And they are away. From half back, Batheris going long. And pretty well down to Tarrant. On the bounce he gathers. The feed was good to Michael. All had to be done quickly and was done well. Oborn running back. Just a bit too much, and there's Whelan again. Again proving the wrecker back there in defence.
Yeah, Brad Oban just got onto the ground. Josh Fraser off for the Pies.
3.5 minutes left in the second quarter, and what a first half he's played, Josh Fraser, because just a few moments ago he was fantastic in the contest in the centre of the ground, got the handball out on his hands and knees, and he's had a mighty game so far. The Demons come away, they lead by 3 points. Ingerson finds Beams. Been pretty handy since he's come off the bench. It's been pretty lively. Replaced Jeff Farmer. Walsh was keen to play on. Schwarz wants it. Handball wasn't good. Schwarz, some fancy footwork, goes wide. Great vision, Whelan. Time for think music. The mind is ticking over and thumps the ball on. Neitz couldn't take it. Robertson bounces up with the ball. Johnson runs inside 50. He has hammered it home. Great goal.
Great work again too, KB, by Russell Robertson.
He was almost blind turning before he hit the ground, Robertson, wasn't he?
Oh, he is a class player, don't worry about that. David Neitz almost plucked this mark. It was a good blind turn, something I never were able to do in my career, but Travis Johnson, he has shown over the last couple of years that touch of class. And that's not something you learn, boys. That's something that's in your blood, that ability to kick a goal from that angle on the run. Right on Travis Johnson.
Well, he's been a point of much frustration for Melbourne. Recruited as the #1 draft pick. So many reps on him, but hasn't been able to deliver at this stage. Burns feeding it out. Richardson backs himself in and does pretty well. Barocca could unload. No, he goes for a pass. It wasn't a bad pass. It wasn't a great pass. Made it tough for Brown, who fought pretty hard. Oborn, good support. The numbers with the Demons, and there's Phoebe going out of bounds again. That time he was under more pressure, but there was no doubt what he had in mind when he found his mark. Well, the first quarter really mirroring the second in many ways, with Melbourne finishing well. Oh, great steal! What a steal! He waits, and then he puts it through. Well done, Paul Williams. Great stuff. It was basketball stuff. Made the interception, and it was away with a fast break, Aussie.
That was just perfect judgment there by Paul Williams. Obviously, Rigoni didn't see him. Paul Williams knew what was going on. Was smart enough to just draw the Melbourne backman then. Had the option of going over to Gavin Brown if need be, but Paul Williams, one of those players that I did earmark, need to stand it up with Nathan Buckley out the side, and he's starting to do quite well.
Pies drag it back to a 3-point ball game. Great goal by Paul Williams. Jimmy Steins looks on. Melbourne coaching box. Paul Williams absolutely pinched it. It was brilliant play. And this young Collingwood side, no Nathan Buckley today, showing plenty of spirit. Adkins from the centre square, caught under pressure. Phoebe, kick goes to Simmons, pumps the ball back towards the half-forward line. Neitz hasn't quite been able to hold his marks, but Prestigiacomo has been very good in defence. They'll share the ball around. Lockyer leaves it for Adkins. Comes away from the half-back flank. Phoebe, low man in defence. Short to Schwarz. Back edge of the centre square. Just punches the ball wide. Woden. Oh, Davis was magnificent. Woden has really struggled. Davis heads for the line. Whelan can't keep it alive. So take a bow, Leon Davis. He's had 9 possessions. He's had 4 great tackles today. And from the Collingwood bench, he gets the pats on the back. This young man, who they believe down at Collingwood would be an exciting player in a couple of years' time. Maybe today he's going to strut his stuff as well.
He's been inspirational, Aussie, hasn't he? I mean, not just the tackles, all the hard work that he's done, and it's just been, that must just lift his teammates so much.
Well, it's not just the teammates, Hunter. You notice the crowd lift with just expectations, I suppose. It's so exciting. You just, not unlike Jeff Farmer, you know he's going to do something special every time he gets near the ball.
Minute and a half left in this second term. 48 plays 45. The Demons by 3 points. Beams, I like his game since coming off the bench. This is a great kick. Johnstone also started on the bench, so a couple of bench players have an impact for the Demons. To the half-forward line, kicks into Jukovic. Phoebe gathers well. They'll set it up short to Woden,
who quickly gives Powell not much of a chance to get through, but he did it well. Free kick to Johnson for holding on. Not paid. Lockyer, Leoncelli, Williams over the top, scooped it up very well. Lucuria run down, but Dimatina just lets himself down with a kick. Oh, Atkins kept it in, and now he needs to apply a tackle, and he couldn't. It was out of bounds, said the umpire. No, Walsh not complaining, so it must have been out. Oh yeah, just carried it over. They fight for it again. Last 35 seconds of the first half. Can Melbourne get another shot at goal? Neitz still not able to quite hold it. Has it stolen? Well done, Prestigiacomo. And the ball out of bounds. Well done. With 23 seconds remaining.
Shane O'Brien on screen. 14 possessions and also kicked a goal. The Demons 7-6-48. They lead by 3 points. 7-3-45 the D's. Scotty Burns to O'Brien. So a transfer of play to Tyson Lane. Time clock ticking away. 14 seconds left. Out in front, Mel Michael. Still a chance for the Pies. Time clock ticking away. Lecuria on the burst. Takes him on. Into the centre square. Getting back is Gavin Brown. Now will the mark be paid? The siren has beaten him. The siren has beaten Gavin Brown. So Melbourne will go in at the main break. 3 points up. 48 plays, 45.
Doesn't want to give it back, Gavin Brown. I don't blame him. It was his first mark.
The boos are going around the ground. But I believe that the umpires made the right decision then. The siren beat him. Kevin, our statistician, is shaking his head. But I reckon I heard the siren before he took the mark.
Who's Kevin, our statistician, barrack for?
And of course, it's not when the umpire puts his arms in the air, it's when the umpire first hears the siren, is what is important. He can put his arms in the air well after the siren has gone, but in his own mind he's got to know when the siren sounded. So at half-time, Melbourne 7-6, 48, lead Collingwood 7-3, 44.